Hello, ladies and gentlemen. We're going to be doing a men's world segment this time because I have not done any Magma segments in quite a while. So I figured it'd be the first time to pop this up and bring a little bit of a men's world into some guys' lives today. So let's get started here. Influencers frustrated by Instagram's filter ban for Texans. Now, this was recently just made, not too long ago. So, give or take, maybe less than a month for sure, a couple of weeks. So, we're gonna see exactly on what affects and some of the realities that that I had a problem with, and while a lot of women are doing current day, and all that. So. The ban on AR filters for Texans comes after Texas Attorney General Ken Paxton filed a lawsuit accusing the platform of misusing facial recognition technology. If you hopped on Instagram yesterday,
to Sutherland Springs and
what is this? Can we not do this? Can we not do this? Thank you. God. If you hopped on Instagram yesterday and couldn't find your favorite filter, you may have thought it was a glitch, but it's not an error. In fact, those living in Texas and what? I'll correct this for them. In fact, those living in Texas can't access them at all, at least for now. On Wednesday, Meta, which owns Facebook and Instagram, turned off augmented reality filters on its social platforms. The change comes after Texas Attorney General Ken Paxton filed a lawsuit accusing the company of misusing facial recognition technology. There's also a class action lawsuit that was settled in Illinois, restricting the use of biometric data. Since Texas has a similar case pending, you may be seeing a lot of posts with hashtag #NoFilter for the foreseeable future. The change is already frustrating users, including news influencer Erica Harrison. Some of us are okay with our faces being mapped or our data being shared that way, Harrison said. Give us an option to opt into that. The good news for users is that Meta says it's planning to give people the option to opt in. In the meantime, the company released a statement regarding the change. We're taking this step to prevent meritless and distracting litigation under laws in these two states based on mischaracterization of how the features work, Meta said. Meta has not said when the opt-in feature will be available. Okay, so we'll have something like that, and now we're going to the Instagram realities here. Granted, this has been out quite a while, but this is kind of just showing exactly on some of the cases that may be with, what women tend to do on Instagram when it comes to filters and stuff like that. Now, some of these can be too extreme to very slight, but again, it's just to kind of show on exactly what women are doing. I mean, men do it too, but it's by far limited. By far women that do this. So we have this here. Obviously, they look like this, and then this pops up. Maybe this is Trisha Paytas, which is absolutely hideous, like this, and then still honestly hideous afterwards. So it's both hideous in general. She more looks like a Barbie doll here than anything. And then you get something like this. And then like this. I'm not quite seeing the difference here exactly. But of course that has show men that do it. But then again, this is radically different compared to this. Some differences here. Some of these are kind of not really noticeable for all that much. A lot of these are going to be Trisha Paytas. Stuff like that. This is a change. And then there's have lip filters. This is changing the skin. Coachella Content Farm, stuff like that. Looking like this. So we're seeing like a good majority of women, right, that do stuff like this, that change their looks, and it's kind of what I call disturbing in a way, and how a lot of men will like to call women being fake, and I kind of agree. Now let me put my quizzing on this into how I even had this going into high school, so this was not a new thinking for me. I always came into the fact that I've hated makeup I've always hated makeup. I always thought that makeup was the tool for women to use to hide their true identities rather than being completely natural and not hiding anything from you. Of course, they want to use it to try the most best mate possible. Obviously, we're humans. We're mammals, so obviously we want to be able to breed and stuff like that. So this is the reason why they do it. I understand why women do it. However, this is the reason why that when I go and look at females or whatever, I have a distinct disgust or question onto why they look like this or how they look like this. Because one, it's either some form of makeup they would want to completely hide the way they look, or they use some type of program that makes them look completely different than they actually are. So again, it's a form of lying to a man specifically, that is my biggest problem here. And I would go the same phase when men do this. It's also lying to women as well. So I don't like either of these altering apps or what have you that does this. But one of the big things what I have a problem is again, you're lying to me out the gate. You can't be straight factual with me with your natural looks, with nothing. You have to lie to me to do this. And what I have a problem is that when you do something like this and when you look like this, it's more of it's a shock, because I kind of had a similar thing happen to this when I went on a date once, to where she looked like this, but I wasn't expecting that exactly. So I mean, it wasn't to the point to where it was like, oh, horrendously different, but obviously it was different. But like, and you get a shock value, a shock value of, well, this is not what I expected, and it can lead to the day or the relationship or whatever going sour, because you are automatically lying to the said person than you actually are, than you're doing it. So again, it's like, it's one thing with pictures, right? So you can fake them with pictures or whatever, with makeup or what have you on online, right? And then that's where you will have the deception or the lie. And then after that, when you go into specifically into the real world or whatever, you don't have really the filter, but you have the filter of makeup that leads to this other perception as a lie. Now, I'm not too worried about kind of using makeup to have to fill in maybe acne or something like that. That helps. Or so some women that actively do need like medication or whatever to actually help acne or whatever, and I'm not really against that. If it's that to that point, I'm not too worried about it. But I'm worried about changing almost entirely the way you look, where I don't agree with that, and I don't like it. You shouldn't need. It's like I would go. I want this is probably too extreme, but I would go as far as to say is that you shouldn't need makeup if you're in relationship. You shouldn't need to put on makeup for any legitimate reason. Why? Because who you're exactly trying to attract or look good to, exactly, right? So if you're putting on makeup and you're already in a relationship, it makes me wonder if you are trying to look attractive or whatever to somebody else, even though you should be only the one that should have eyes for me. That's just my way of thinking. Maybe it's just maybe it's something else. Maybe it's different for women, particularly. But for me, I'm like, I don't dress up when I dress up. I dress up for a specific person or a specific occasion. That's the reason why I would do it. Whereas a woman may just dress up would dress up maybe for the same thing, but when they're in a relationship, they'll still put on makeup, which I don't know why. Unless specifically is to maybe look attractive to their man, which then I digress. It's kind of hard to pinpoint that exactly. However, but my point is that makeup and filters, and I specifically Instagram, prey on young women, because women mostly, I would say, would like to mostly use this platform, and they use it as a dating tool. And I don't think it's very healthy for women at all. I don't think any social media is healthy for anybody, but especially women. And I think it does a harmful effect. And I'm not going to go far as to say if a woman lies to a man, and specifically to how they look, that the man's going to actively attack them. But I'm also going to but I would also go to say, as far as the man may feel lied to or feel a bit dejected or whatever because you already lied to them on how you look. And when you take the makeup off and you look completely different than you would look originally, it's a problem because, like, okay, I was expecting you to look like this, but you don't look like this. Eventually, yeah, of course. Or it will come back with, well, isn't supposed to be about the personality on how they are as a person than their actual attractiveness. I agree. However, we cannot deny the fact that when we first go in to meet somebody, is that when we like somebody, it's immediate attraction. You find them physically attractive to you, and that being said, when you're going to go after their actual physical attractiveness rather than their actual, personality, whatever. Because again, you don't know them, you don't know what they're going to be like, hence why there are dates and stuff like that to kind of confirm on what they're like and whatever, and how you want to proceed forward to find out who they already are, whereas the physical attractiveness is what's going to happen. And people are going to say, like, people are going to actually come and say, oh, you shouldn't do it about attractiveness, or whatever. I'm sorry to break it to you, but at the end of the day, it's all about physical attractiveness. It's all about how you look, and that's how humanity is. It's how all mammals are, how all creatures do it, because again, we want to be able to procreate and have the healthiest partner for the healthiest born child, so they have no issues. Because remember back in the day when we did stuff like this, is that like any kid that had any healthy or had any issues at all is very hard in that day.
Well, if you haven't checked your
specifically because of the fact that back in the day, medicine was very hard to come by, and it was harder to treat certain diseases. So this is the reason why we have these type of filters and stuff in. And again, at the end of the day, guys, if you really want to specifically do something for yourself, benefit yourself first, always go for yourself first. And I would say don't get married at all, because it's a humane trouble, which I'm also going to do a video about that, because there's a lot of crazy stuff. And women, stop trying to use filters as much. Maybe you could go okay with makeup, okay, sure, that's really what I'm going for. But again, I would stress to just not use that many filters. I don't think it's going to be helping you a lot. I don't think it's going to be helping men a lot. And you're just automatically painting a lie towards men in particular, to where it's not really to your benefit. It may benefit you, but again, I don't like the whole lie thing. I try to be as truthful as I can. I do lie sometimes. That's just, I don't think everybody does not lie, but I try my best to be truthful as possible. And lying out straight out the gate like that, I don't know. Like if you put on makeup afterwards, that's I always find that it's fine. But again, I don't agree with the whole straight out the gate lying type of thing. That's not what I want. So that's it for the video, guys. Like, share, subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one. Take care.